Hey. Hey everyone. Hey Tom. Hey Jay. Happy Friday. Finally we got around to Friday. Hey Dan. I am wonderful. How's everyone's Friday been? It's all been a bit manic here, I think. We're very busy, but it's good. Yeah, I know. It literally couldn't have come around soon enough, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Like super hot. What's everyone been up to? Oh. He is sat right here, literally been a pain, an absolute pain out, Sterling. Like a fox on a rope thing, and that very much has gone, and we now just have the rope. The fox been and gone and is no more. So yeah, he is one of those, like, literally you give him a toy and he keeps it for like 2 minutes and that is it, gone. It's torn to shreds. So what's everyone else been up to? What's the weather like in Ontario? It is hot. That's great. Here it's like, I think we're on like 32 degrees. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but it is hot. And for the really, I shouldn't be seen. Hi Andrea, how are you? Tom, do you know what, fam? I would actually be really happy if it rained here. I would actually be really happy if it rained here because everything's looking a bit grim and like garden wise, and it's just so hot and sweaty. Jenny's first question in. I have a question. What's your top three desert island skincare? Well, so everyone's always asks me what my top three of top five desert island items are, and I've got a caveat to this. If I was on a desert island, I kind of think, what would I actually be bothered about? Because if I was on my own, would I care? But in the true sense, if I could only take three things, it would definitely be my SPF that I'm using at the time, which would, yeah, Daniel's right, sunscreen, but which at the moment is the Purito Comfort Water, which I love. But whatever sunscreen I was into at the time, I would definitely take my AHA, my glycolic acid, because there might be nobody on this island, but I want to look fierce in case I get rescued. I want to look my best, so I take my glycolic acid so I could strip away all the grim and the stuff, and then I'd take my retinol, because without it I'm even greasier than I currently am now. So amazing. Welcome and happy Friday. We are very much celebrating Friday. So because I'm going to be chatting for a little bit, I thought I won't put my face mask on just yet. I said to everyone I'm using the Simple Detox and Brighten Clay Mask, and this is one I did in the review from the video earlier today, and I thought, well, I'll try it and I'll put this one on. Thank you, Jenny. Do you know, it made me feel happy if nothing else. And so I'm trying this one on. But I'm going to put it on later because I don't want to leave it on more than 15 minutes, because I would literally be like a crusty rock and it wouldn't be great. Oh, Portugal. Oh, do you know, I had, Andrea, Portugal is one of my favourite countries in the world. We went to Portugal last year on holiday and had literally the best time. The food was amazing. I'm addicted to piri piri chicken now. It was absolutely amazing. Daniel has a question. What are thoughts on the Simple Toner as it's plain and dirt cheap? Now, in my Simple review from earlier, I only reviewed this range, which is the Protect and Glow, and if I'm honest, wasn't that great. It was fine. Some was good, some was not good. Watch it if you haven't, but some was good, some wasn't that good. Their actual toner, I really like. This is from their main range. I really like their toner. It's really cheap and it actually really works. The only reason I don't use Simple more is because not everybody wants to be a skincare guru. Not everybody wants to be really into skincare, and they want Simple, which is absolutely fine. I just think if they just took some time to reformulate some of their products and maybe make the packaging jump out a little bit, because Simple doesn't have to mean boring, if that makes sense. And I feel that they're like boring, not simple. That's good. But the toner is actually really good. If I was going to recommend one simple product that wasn't from this range that I did, I actually really like their toner and I would fully recommend it. So yeah, good one. Yeah, I do love Portugal. I think it's absolutely fab. So, does anyone have any questions, skincare or otherwise? I would be happy. The room's filling up, so hit me with your questions, and I will be happy to answer them. I am going to get a drink though, because if I'm going to be talking a lot. And our Sterling might be making an appearance in a minute. He's actually woken up and he's wandering around, so he might be making an appearance. So what have we got on the question line? Pajama Mama says, I love cheap products that actually work. Do you know what? This is it. And actually, Simple, I will apologize. If I ever meet the people that create Simple, I will apologise to them in person, because I do actually really like some of their products. This should just make the packaging more interesting. Copper peptides. Ooh. I like them, but I don't think you should pay too much money for them. So the only one that is out there that I think is accessible to everyone is the copper peptides by The Ordinary, which I absolutely love. I love that product. I don't use it because I actually use the buffet instead. It's a little bit cheaper and I don't want to use too many different products. But I do actually like copper peptides. I think there's a place for copper in skincare. It is one of those ingredients, those elements and trace elements which does support the function of the skin. So yeah, I'm actually in favour of it. I just don't think you should be paying too much. That's Sterling, by the way. If you can hear that growling in the background, that's our Sterling. Be quiet. You gonna come and say hello? No, he's gone the other way. But no, I like copper peptides. I just don't think you need to spend that much money on them, if that makes sense. I would stick to the Ordinary one. That's the blue one that comes in, and I think it's about £16 here in the UK, so it's actually quite pricey for an Ordinary product, but actually is really good. Oh, okay, so Daniel said, we've got a couple of questions. Let's go for, have I tried the Biore UV Watery Essence? Any thought on it? I have tried it, but I've only tried it as a friend. So a friend bought it, and every time I go around, so never invite me around to your house, because literally I'll go into your bathroom and just spray and douse myself in every product. I'm a little bit, some of these UV essences, I'm a little bit dubious about, because I think you've got to get the right amount, you've got to use them properly. But yeah, actually I think it is a reasonably good product. It's not one that I've ever bought, but I've tried, and yeah, I quite like it. I think that's reasonably good. He is here. He'll make an appearance. He's lurking down here. It's just a little bit warm for him, I think, at the moment. Daniel says, the mandelic acid from The Ordinary, do I recommend it for teens, as the molecules are so big they don't penetrate too deep? Yes, so I always think age shouldn't really come into, obviously not super young, but if you're in your teens, I don't think age really needs to come into skincare. I think you should be focusing your skincare on what the issue is that you're looking to treat. So if you have a condition which you feel would benefit from a mandelic acid, you can really use it at any age. I would just always use things with caution. Make sure you patch test first, all the boring stuff that goes with it. I would probably recommend starting, if you want to do an exfoliation from like a teenage, work out if you're particularly oily or acneic, definitely then salicylic should be your friend. And generally speaking, in your teens, you would have oilier skin than maybe later on in life, but work with what your skin is. Salicylic, mandelic, these things are all fine. Just patch test first to make sure that you're not going to have a reaction and you are good to go. Is there any particular, do you use an exfoliator at the moment, or is there one that you are thinking of maybe trying? Sorry, I'm going to drink, which I realise is really rude on camera, but it's so hot here, so hopefully you'll excuse me, because it is super, super warm. So what's my opinion on enzyme powder wash for rosacea skin? Well, I love, just up front, I love an enzyme powder wash. I love enzyme exfoliations. I think enzyme exfoliating is a really good alternative to chemical exfoliating if that's not your thing, or it's too harsh. Generally speaking, enzymes are gentler than traditional acids. So in terms of rosacea, it should be okay. I would always say, if you have rosaic skin, if you have rosacea, I would definitely make sure that you're not using too many different products, as in like changing them up too often. Find the ones that work for you and stick to them, because often if you change, you can get unnecessary interactions that can cause a flare-up. So if you want to try an enzyme wash, I think it's absolutely safe to do so. Try it, see how you get on with it, and if you like it, then stick with it, if that makes sense. Because often what I find, my mother has rosacea, You can add products in. There's no issue with that. It's when people keep changing in and out, and she's constantly grabbing at different products and using it. And actually, the best thing you could do for rosacea is have consistent skincare, however many steps you want to have. The consistency is the key because then that'll stop any flare-ups. Danielle, so Daniel says, with it in terms of the exfoliation question, I used to use apricot scrub. I hope, promise me, you no longer use apricot scrub. I'm not judging because in my teens, I went mad for that stuff. Me and my friend used to go down to Boots, which is at the drugstore here, on a lunch, and we used to think we were so cool because we used to buy skincare, and it used to be like Clearasil pads, you know, the ones that literally burn your skin off, coupled with an apricot scrub. I mean, it's a miracle I actually have skin left on my face with the things I did to it when I was a teen. I was still spotty. Never worked, but you know, I kept trying. You know, God loves a tryer, and I kept trying. So that Vanessa says, when starting a new product, how long does purging last? Well, purging is kind of one of those terms that people throw around. Purging can be a number of different things. If you are using something like a salicylic acid, a lot of people say, I use a salicylic acid and I purged, my skin purged. That is purging in the truest sense. So you've got all of this dirt, grime, all sorts going on, and you use a product which is designed to target that, and all of that will come out of your skin. Because it's such a sea change for the skin, often that purge does manifest itself in bumps, whiteheads, things like that. So that is purging in the truest sense. Some people class everything as purging, and actually sometimes it could just be a reaction to a product. Maybe the product's too strong for you, maybe some of the ingredients don't agree with you. So be very careful. If you're getting a little bit of a few whiteheads, you're getting a few pimples, you might get a few breakouts, that's purging, and that's absolutely fine. Definitely do not Healy for purging. That is an allergic reaction. So you kind of just need to make sure the two. If you're purging, it usually lasts around the life of a zit. So purging should really happen all in one go or over a period of 2 days and then heal itself. So if you're still purging after 2 weeks, definitely I think there's a problem with the product. It's not agreeing with you. Hope that kind of makes sense. It's hard to tell what's an allergic reaction and what's a purge. But generally speaking, if you have the whiteheads and the bumps and the bobbles, that's the purge. Hope that answers the question. Jenny says, which lactic acid are you using? If you're looking for a lactic acid, you can't go wrong with The Ordinary. They do 2 concentrations. They do a 5% and a 10%. The 10% is actually safe to use on everyone unless you're really sensitive and you might want to start with the 5. I really like it because it's got hyaluronic acid, so it does keep you hydrated at the same time as giving you that gentle exfoliation. I love that. How long does it take to repair a damaged skin barrier? Oh, and just before I get into the skin barrier question, I saw Jenny put about the Clarisonic. I also used Clarisonic. I mean, my poor skin. My skin deserves like a medal because we had the apricot scrub, we had the Clearasil scrubbing alcohol pads, we had a Clarisonic thrown in it literally, and I used it every single day, twice a day sometimes. Not good. Not good. How long does it take to repair a damaged skin barrier, and how can you tell when it's sufficiently recovered to start introducing more products? That's a really good question. So usually if you've got an impact, depends. Let's start on why your barrier is impaired. If you have done something ridiculous like I did and scrubbed it within an inch of its life and damaged your skin, that will heal, and that's one way. If you have an impaired barrier function organically, that is, you might have rosacea, you might have dermatitis, you might have eczema. That obviously is never going to heal itself, so you need to be mindful of why the barrier is impaired. If you've done something which is impaired, it may be just really dehydrated, or it can happen hormonally at different times of the month, or it can happen different life stages. Then usually if you use a good product, and I'm talking like a robust peptide cream, or get some lipids in there, you can rebalance the acid mantle as well. If you do all of the right things, it should repair itself in about a week to 10 days. It doesn't take long. Like, the skin is miraculous when it comes to healing itself. So I'd say a week to 10 days is probably about right. You'll know. So the way to tell if your barrier function has repaired is if you stop using the products that you're using to repair it for a day, it doesn't go straight back to square one, to where you were at the start. Obviously you want to keep using them, so don't stop using them, but if you just give it a break for a day, see what happens. If your skin doesn't revert completely back to the way it was before, you're repaired. Jenny says, oh yeah, the 5% lactic acid. I think in Jenny's case, if you have rosaic skin and you have sensitive skin, I think the 5% lactic acid is beautiful. The Ordinary is fantastic because it keeps you hydrated as well, though there are other ones in the market, but 5% is a great beginner lactic acid, and I wouldn't push it if you've got sensitive skin. I think 5% you get great results with. Let's have a look. How many times a day should you put on toner? Taylor, my class as modern toners are really gentle and they don't have the alcohol stripping effect that you get, that we used to have in our old style toners. Twice a day, absolutely fine. Just be mindful of if it's a treatment toner with how much. So, for example, my toner in the morning is the glycolic acid toner. I wouldn't use that twice a day. Once in the morning is enough. And in the evening, I use just a water-based toner, the La Roche-Posay low thermal spray. So just be mindful, obviously, if it's treatment, but you can absolutely tone twice a day. And I think that's a really good way of getting the hydration up in your skin and getting some treatments in. So yeah, twice a day, absolutely fine. Are there any ingredients that you would not recommend for the under eye? Generally, I think people are too overly worried and concerned about the under eye area. Yes, the skin is finer, so you need to be a little bit mindful of that, but it's not materially different to the rest of the skin. So you can take most products under it. The eyelid, the top of the lid, is completely different. There's very few oil glands in the lid, so you will end up with quite dry skin if you put something too harsh. Under the eye, you can take most things. Never a scrub. So if you do use a scrub or a manual exfoliation, never under the eye. Never your exfoliator either, because you just don't need it in that area of skin. You can take it to where the crow's feet are, but not under the eye. Other than that, everything else, your retinol's fine, your vitamin C is fine. The key thing is to remember is that heat makes the product expand and move. So if you put the product under here with the heat, it will move up to the eye. So don't ever put the product right under the eye, because you don't need to. It'll move, it'll migrate, and you'll be absolutely fine. What have we got? Zuzana, which I really hope I haven't pronounced your name wrong there. I'm sorry. Hi, I've stopped washing my face in the morning 2 months ago and just had sunscreen. So far my skin likes it. Do you think I might cause some damage later? No. I do not wash my skin on the morning. It's personal preference. I know some people. There's some videos out there saying some people don't wash their face on the morning, and so I can't do with all that drama. You do what works well for your skin. I don't wash my face in the morning. I don't think you need to. Overnight, your body's produced all of these great oils and protectants, and I don't think we need to wash them off. But if you're really oily, you might have acne skin, you might actually want to wash your face in the morning. So I don't judge. There's no harm in not washing your face on the morning. If you just see the morning as protecting the skin, see the evening as treating the skin. So on the morning, literally all you need is your SPF and you are out of that door, and that is absolutely fine. You might be missing out on some, if you want to use an exfoliator, just use it in the evening. My only challenge is getting it with the retinol in the evening, and an exfoliator can be quite challenging because it'd be quite rough on the skin. So if you alternate every other day in the evening, absolutely fine. No, you do not need more than an SPF in the morning. Obviously, if you want to do more, that's up to you, but you won't do any long-term damage by just having an SPF. What do I recommend to fix contact dermatitis on eyelids? Vanessa, that is a really good question. The Roche-Posay eye cream is really good. I think getting that lipid fix and that peptide fix into the skin is what's really crucial. Like I say, on that lid, you have very few oil glands, so you need to add that moisture back in. Obviously, got to be unfragranced and has to be colorant free with contact dermatitis. I would have a look through the La Roche-Posay line. The Cicaplast, absolutely fantastic. I love that, and that will really help. Contact dermatitis is difficult because it's got to be properly diagnosed, and you've got to make sure that it doesn't get infected, because it's a skin condition that can really easily become inflamed and infected, and that's a whole different thing to treat. So I would first of all recommend anyone who thinks they might have it to go to a dermatologist and get a proper assessment, or your GP. They will also be able to tell you and get a proper assessment, because you might need at the start some steroid treatment to calm it down, to then be able to start benefiting from some products like the La Roche-Posay balm, things like that. So my first point of call, if I was concerned, is to go see my GP. I would go see my dermatologist and get that proper diagnosis and see if I need something a little stronger to just kickstart the whole thing. But if you're happy that it's under control, you know exactly what it is, anything with peptides in is going to be your absolute saviour, particularly on the eyelid. Jenny says she just bought the Good Molecules Niacinamide Toner, which also contains vitamin C, and will also provide the Inkless vitamin C with epidermal growth factors. Can I both use it at the same time? Yes, you can. I always ask people to be careful of what's in their products, because if you've got niacinamide in one, you might not want to add niacinamide to another. You know, just be mindful of what's in there. But yeah, absolutely, you can use them together. Often in toners as an antioxidant rather than a brightener. So I would say you're absolutely fine. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But listen to what your skin's saying. If it's feeling like it's too much, you might have to swap one or two out. But yeah, you'd be fine. Um, uh, Greener's Rule said, I destroy my skin barrier using chemical exfoliant with some other actives. What were you using? Out of interest, just we've got to be very mindful of our skin barrier and making sure that we don't do too much to upset. And different people's barriers have different levels of tolerance. So I'd be interested to know what products you actually use, just so we can learn from that. That'd be really good. Um, Let's have a look. Tom says, where are we getting the Inkless products in Canada? Well, obviously, Jenny, hopefully you'll be able to help, because I am rubbish when it comes to Canadian. Though actually tomorrow morning is my best of Canada skincare tour. So have a look at that video when it comes out tomorrow. But I'm rubbish at knowing when things are. I got into so much hot water on the video the other day on pigmentation, which went absolutely mad. So thank you for all the love and support on that video, but went absolutely mad, and everyone was like, outraged that I'd recommended the Peter Thomas Roth niacinamide treatment, which is gold standard amazing, and then it turns out it's now impossible to get here in the UK at the moment. There's a huge backlog and wait lists and everything. So I contacted, if anyone has watched that video in the UK and wants to buy that product, I contacted Cult Beauty, and it will be back next week on the 2nd of June available. So if you do want to get your hands on that, jump over to Cult Beauty and you can buy it on the 2nd of June. But yeah, it's really difficult when you're filming these videos to actually know what's in stock where, and so many people come and say, I couldn't get my hands on it, I've run out, and it's a shame, because do you know what, I do my best. But yeah, it's difficult. And Canada is possibly one of the most beautiful countries. I went skiing in Whistler in Canada once, and I loved it. The people were amazing, the food was amazing, and the best skiing I've ever had. I just think when it comes to cosmetics, Canada has some amazing brands, but for some reason they don't stock half of their own brands. So like The Ordinary can be really difficult to get some of the Ordinary products in Canada, and the Inkless, again, I know it's a British company, but can be quite difficult to get some of the products. So hopefully you can help each other out and say where you can get it. What's the best drugstore face wash for acne? Taylor, that's an amazing question. And I if I was going to choose, now drugstore is a little bit hard, because obviously the drugstore's different depending on where you live. I would probably go for, if you want something specifically for targeting, quite difficult to get an active ingredient into a wash, because you're putting it on and you're washing it off, so you're not getting the benefits. So I would focus my active ingredients, my acne treatment, on the other steps in your skincare routine. But if you want a specific wash that's going to help with acne, I would say the Inkless salicylic acid cleanser. That is really good. It's, I think, about £6 in the UK, it's about $10. Really, really good. I'd fully recommend that. And the salicylic acid is going to really help to clear the skin, keep it clean, and it's a really nice product. So yeah, and also colorant, cruelty, and fragrance free. So win, win, win. Let's have a look. It took 10 to look and see what other questions. So Vanessa said going to the doctor about the dermatitis, but yeah, with the current situation, you cannot really get an appointment. Yeah, I think if you haven't had the full diagnosis, I think I'd go straight into using the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm if you can. I think that'd be the best thing for contact dermatitis. Get that appointment as soon as you can, because you do want the proper face-to-face diagnosis. I think that's really important. But build up that lipid, and that product isn't going to harm it in any way, so there's no risk to using it, and hopefully you'll see the improvement. It would also be good to show the doctor if you have started getting improvements when you go to see them. Obviously you can say I've used this product and it's started to work, and they'll have an idea about kind of how to continue with your treatment. So yeah, that's a really good idea. Hi from Holland. Yeah, hi from Holland. I mean, our neighbours here in the UK, just over a little patch of water. I actually live on the south coast, so I can't really see Holland, but if I had, if I stretched hard enough, I could probably see it. Yeah, the Canadian skincare video, guys, by the way, it's coming out tomorrow morning, and it was a dream to film. I loved filming that. I had no idea. You Canadians are lucky. You have great products. I was so impressed. When I first started this series, I thought, you know what, I'm going to lump Canada and America in together. And I know you're probably all screaming and hating at me for that, because I know Canadians and Americans are very different. But I'm like, it's like us being compared to, you know, our next neighbours like France. Very different cultures, very different. So I'm not saying they're the same, but I thought there wouldn't be enough in Canada to warrant a separate video. Oh, how wrong was I? I hold my hands up and say I fully apologise to the whole nation of Canada. You have amazing products, and hopefully in tomorrow's video I'll do you justice, and you can, well, hopefully I'll surprise you with some amazing products you didn't even know were Canadian. So it says about having tried the Paula's Choice 1% Retinol. Now, that's for the group chat to discuss if anyone has actually tried it, but that is a strong retinol. I love the Paula's Choice. I think retinols come in 3 different concentrations for me. They come with like the starter retinol, the people that want to dip their toes into retinol. Pixie is fantastic for that. The retinol tonic, great. They do retinol overnight drops, they're great. Pixie is where you start with your retinol. There's then the the mid-strength retinols. Those are for the people that have migrated, maybe tend to have younger skin, don't have maybe some of the fine lines and wrinkles that need that active treatment like that, and they want to build up to it. The mid-strengths are the Ordinary, the Grand Active Retinol, the Inkless Retinol is really good, and then if you want the super strength, and I don't think you need a super strength retinol in your life. I think you can manage quite well to have a mid-strength and just use it regularly. That's my preference. If you want a super strength retinol, Paula's Choice 1% is like knocking it out of the park strength retinol. The Drunk Elephant A-Pacioli retinol cream, that's like the strongest retinol without a prescription. And then you've got your prescriptions, you've got your isotretinoins, and you've got your retin-A's, things like that. I don't think you need a super strength like the Paula's Choice 1%, but if you want to go in, you want to go hard and your skin can tolerate it, it's a beautiful retinol. So yeah, Paula's Choice. I got a lot of shade for not including it in the Best of America video, because Paula's Choice obviously is huge. I have my reasons, which I've got your attention. I might as well tell you now. First reason for not including it was, I think the products have changed quite a bit. So Paula, when she set up that company, was fantastic. She was all about taking out the nasties. She was clean beauty before clean beauty actually was a thing, and take out the nasties and focus on the ingredients. She she sold the business, and she was there as like an advisor to it, and slowly but surely some of the ingredients that I think Paula, who created Paula's Choice, would never approve of, have started appearing in the products again. So it's not got the same integrity, I don't think, that it used to have, but they have got some beautiful packaging and some beautiful products. So what I thought, instead of including it in the Best of America, I'm going to do a whole different full brand review on Paula's Choice. So look out for that. I haven't forgotten about Paula's Choice, because they have some beautiful products. They have some win, and they have some less so, and so we can flush out those in a full review, so look out for that one. Let's have a look. Oh, so someone's asking, Jenny, let us know about what's the Good Molecules toner like. Yeah, the quality of the results that you can get from it. Susanna says, I love your channel. Oh, thank you. Do you know what? We are now, let me think. We started January, so we've done January, February, March, April, May. So 5. I set a goal, and I wanted to have 1,000 subscribers by my birthday at the end of May, which was a couple of days ago. But when you get to my age, you kind of forget your birthday, so you don't really want to mention them that much. We had a lovely barbecue, had some friends around, great. And I wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers. Actually managed to hit 3,000. We are literally like 2 or 3 subscribers away from 3,000. So first of all, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, do the deed. But actually, it's just mind-blowing how amazing everything is, and it's just so wonderful to see. Like, we've got monetized, so I don't know if you started seeing ads yet, but the revenue's coming in, which is really good, because we're going to be reinvesting that in charity, but also into giveaways. So we've got some amazing giveaways going on at the moment. If it's still not too late, I'm drawing this evening the Best of British giveaway, so hop over to that video if you haven't left a comment on it, and blast a comment out so you can be joined into that one. The American and Canadian we're doing together, so it's like a double whammy giveaway, so you'll see what's coming in, so leave a comment on that one if you haven't. And yeah, we could just keep giving back and giving away and reinvesting some of the amazing ad money that we're getting, and I'm surprised with how much you actually get. Just as a side note, and YouTube would probably kill me for this, but it's actually really good, and it does allow us to to give half of the money to charity, which I think is really important to support people that need it, especially in these times. There's a lot of need out there, but also like to be able to give back giveaways. I thought it'd just be a contributor. We could do like it can literally be a giveaway a day at this rate, which is phenomenal, and I'm so glad because I just love all you guys. What we got here? Matt Randon is in the house. Matt, hi, welcome. So, first of all, everyone on here, if you haven't gone and checked Matt's channel already, you have to, because he is. Some of you guys say to me, if I've like on the simple video today, I was talking a bit, about how maybe they weren't the most exciting brand, and I got said I was sassy and all sorts, all sorts. You haven't seen anything. Go to Matt's channel. You will love it. You like a bit of sass? You will love his channel. It's informative. It's fabulous. It's sassy in all the right ways, and it literally is like one of my top 3 channels on YouTube. So if you haven't already, go. But obviously after this live, don't leave me now. But hop over. Filled with the oat cleansing balm for the first cleanse. Thanks for the recommendation. Amazing. I actually love it when people say about like try my recommendations and say they're really good. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It feels very good. So I'm delighted you like the oat cleansing balm. It is my go-to first cleanse now. I absolutely love it. But don't forget you can use it as a mask. I always say to people, don't forget if you want that extra hydration, slather it on. It's really good if you want to do a facial massage, especially in this heat where it literally heats up like that. Beautiful as a facial massage. So yeah, it's a great product. If you haven't checked it out, definitely try it. But don't read me to filth when you log on and you can't buy it because it's sold out, because it's literally like gone viral in the last like 3 months, so it's really difficult to get. But if you can get it, buy a couple because you'll love it. What do I think about the retinol products from Aven? Oh, I love them. Literally love their retinol products. They're not super strength, so I'll put that right out there. If you're looking for a strong retinol, you're not going to find it with Aven, but that's okay because there is a whole market for people with sensitive skin, with rosacea, with really complicated and impaired barrier function that might want to include retinol. And I always think you should never miss out. I hate the fact that people feel like they can't enjoy a skincare routine because they have a skin complaint. And Aven is like, their retinols are just gold standard for anybody that suffers with sensitivity. So if you're sat there thinking, I can't possibly use a retinol, it's just not going to work for me, you can try the Aven. Genuinely really, really good. I love them. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, Tom, I know Tom has been trying to try the oat cleansing balm for months, and you know what, there's nothing worse than we're all sat here going, oh, it's fantastic, it's amazing, it's game changing, it's the best thing ever, and then there's people sat there going, I can't get it. I do believe they plan to do a restock. I read somewhere that they're restocking Europe first. I guess it's produced in the UK, so it kind of makes sense, but isn't very fair. But hopefully it'll be crossing the Atlantic to Canada and you'll be able to get your hands on it very soon. But all I say is, if you do seriously see it in stock, buy a couple because you'll love it, and it's so cheap, you might as well buy a couple. It's really good. Oh, Vanessa says, what is my favourite movie? Oh, well, as long as you don't all say how lame and sad I am. The mark of a good movie to me is if I cry at the end of it. I love a good cry. I'm quite dramatic, but I'm not particularly teary day to day, but I love a good cry for a movie. Is either Blythe Spirit, which hardly anyone ever heard of. It's an old Noel Coward play, but it has my favourite actress Margaret Rutherford in, and she's just like a powerhouse and a legend. I love The Wizard of Oz because, I mean, who doesn't love The Wizard of Oz? But my current absolute favourite is Bridesmaids. Anybody that hasn't seen Bridesmaids, go and check it out, because honestly, Melissa McCartney is just life-changing, and the whole thing is just brilliant, and I love everything about Bridesmaids. Tatiana says, I'm a lazy person, so I was wondering if it's okay to use a salicylic acid mask by The Ordinary as an in-shower mask. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? If you're using a treatment mask or a treatment product, I say 15 minutes is probably what you need to leave it on for. If you don't have that time, it's fine. If you want to use it 15 minutes, like twice a week, say, you can use it 5 minutes every day. I kind of work it out like that. Just work out what your skin can tolerate. But absolutely, what I tend to do with some of my masks or some of my treatments is I will put them on, get in the shower. Then while you're waiting for the water to warm up, you're setting out your products or whatever you do in the shower, you're blasting through your first song on the radio, then get in and it will still really work. So salicylic acid in particular works the second it comes into contact with your skin. So the second it touches the skin, it's already pulling out those impurities, drying out that excess oil. Obviously, if you're going to leave it on the 15 minutes, fantastic. If you can't, not the end of the world. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. So yeah, absolutely. In shower mask, fantastic. Yeah, I love that. There is what company does it? And I can't remember. It's going to really bother me. There is an in shower mask that I raved about on this channel about a month ago, and I had it, and I can't remember the name of the company that did it, which is really going to bug me. But it's an in shower radiance mask, and it is absolutely game changing. It's like a Ven or a Vino, or I can't remember. I'll leave it in a comment below this, but game changing. So if you want an in shower mask, it's like a spa. I've got it upstairs, and I used it like, I think you're supposed to use it twice a week. I probably go overboard because I love it. Let's have a look. Oh, so interesting. Someone's saying they tried the event Retinol, but it was too strong for them. This is the thing, even though the event is really gentle and really calming for the skin, it still can be too much. If you're ever worried about your retinol being too strong, you can always buffer it. So mix it with some moisturizer, put on less. That might help, but it's really got to work for your skin. Andrea said, I've just ordered my oat cleansing balm and I can't wait to try it. Literally, if the Inkless are watching, I want the Inkless to sponsor me because I feel like I've earned my coin at this point. Like, I honestly love them. And when I didn't realize they were British. And then when I found out they were British, I was like, even better. Just another reason to love the Inkless. They are fantastic. Their oat cleansing balm, game changing. I think probably the reason why you can't get it anywhere is because I've got like 4 in my bathroom, so me panic buying it is probably the reason it sold out, because I probably bought out every stock. Jenny says Paula's Choice have a ton of products now. They do, and this is one of the main reasons I didn't include it in my Best of America video. Is I haven't tried out all of them because they went from just having the basics and taking out the nasties to all of a sudden just throwing in quite unnecessary products as well. Some of the new launches are amazing, and some are just a bit lazy and a bit like they're trying to get our money just by throwing out another product. So I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm going to do a full and fair, as you know, you always get on this channel, a full and fair, full product review. And I will let you know what I think of them in the coming weeks. What do I think of Hiram, Susan Yara, and others? Oh, Matt, you see, this is from Matt. Like I say, this is a sort of shady question you're going to get on his channel, and this is why I love him. So I love people that love skincare. I'm not going to cop out because I am going to be a little bit shady because no one came here to have a politician's answer. I start with Susan Liara. I adore her. She was the one that really gave me the confidence to set up this channel. I was like, I would dream about being as amazing as her and as big as her channel. So I'm not saying I'm in any way comparable, but her channel, flawless. I love the fact that she's really honest. I really like the fact that she admits when she makes mistakes, and by mistakes I mean like shades a product says I don't really like it, and then 3 months later she's using it and she's quite happy to say actually I was using it wrong, or I didn't realize how I could use it better. I like that. I've done that with a couple of products, and I want to live by that ethos that you can change your mind on products. You don't have to stick rigidly to them. I just love her. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I think it's great. Hiram, so great to see men promoting skincare, and I'm fully on board with that, and I think it's really good. I think you don't get 1.8 million viewers or however many viewers and subscribers he's got by not being good, so he clearly is exceptionally good at what he does. I love the fact that it's a guy, he's bringing it to a younger demographic as well, so I'm all in favor of it. We disagree fundamentally on a number of issues relating to skincare, and I come from a very different background, and I think maybe that shapes some of our views. So I know Hiram is passionately anti-fragrance. I work in the formulation of products, and I understand that fragrance, whilst it's not appropriate for everybody, especially if you're sensitive, people do want a sensorial experience. People want to enjoy a product, and I think if we went down that militant no fragrance ever approach, we kind of just, the people who can have fragrance and can tolerate it end up missing out because the zealots were like, no fragrance ever. And so I fundamentally disagree with him on that. He swears a lot in his videos. I'm not one of these prim and proper types, but I don't like swearing. You won't get any swearing on this channel. Mainly because I know my mother watches and she would literally kill me. So I think ditch the swearing and ditch the obsession with not having fragrance, and I think, great. But I do watch Hiram. I do watch all his videos, so he must be doing something right, because I'm perfectly entertained and I always watch them to the end, so fine. But I think if you're looking for, if I was saying to look for a little bit, someone taking a different view, so there's loads of up and coming male skincare influencers. Matt's on the call today. I would definitely check his channel out. James just now. James, I'll leave a link to his thing below. He's really good. I watch him all the time. Can't remember his name, which is super rude, but I really like his channel. I think a different perspective. And yeah, I think that's really good. And I do admire. I will give Hiram his due. He doesn't take coin to promote things he doesn't believe in, and I think that's really important, because the temptation, I was really surprised when I set this channel. It didn't take long for people to start throwing product at you and saying, will you, if I give you this discount on this, will you promote this? And no, because I don't like it. And actually, all the stuff I've received for free, which is generous to a fault, and I love the companies for doing that. I've never taken a penny or to do anything to promote a product, because I don't think I need to. And yeah, so I've tried to be less shady, but they're not perfect. But Susan is like my hero, so I never had a bad word said against Susan Yara. Jenny says happy birthday. Thank you, Jenny. I had a lovely day. We did a barbecue. We had some drinks. I had one. I mean, this is how classy I am. You're getting quality when you come to this channel. A friend brought around a carton of sangria, and less said about that the better. And apparently I thought it was my first experience with boxed wine. Didn't know that wine could come in a box. My friend bought a box round, and it was actually really nice. So maybe I'm a convert to the boxed wine. Thank you for everyone for your birthday messages. That's really kind. How old am I? Do you know, the person who says I'm 25, honestly, free pass this channel forever. I am not 25. You can add another 10 years onto that, and then another year onto that. But I think I hated my skin in my 20s. I just started to like my skin in my 30s. Now I'm in my mid to the wrong side of 30. And it's the happiest I've ever been when it comes to my skin, and it's the best my skin's ever looked. And so I might be older than I would ideally like to be, but I won't go back to that for love nor money. Let's have a look. What else? Oh, rubbing ice on the skin in a morning and night. Well, this is like the celebrity craze of the moment. I don't know why. I don't know why people are rubbing ice on their face, but there's no harm in it. So I think some celebrities say it helps depuff. Gwyneth Paltrow, she's rubbing ice all over herself apparently while she's in lockdown. Yes, no, maybe. Under the eye, fantastic, because a lot of the dark circles and stuff is caused by the puffiness. It's caused by lymphatic fluid that needs to be moved, or blood vessels. If you constrict them by freezing them, they contract, and that you get less discoloration. It's a little bit of a temporary fix, but it will definitely work with some of that puffiness under the eye. So ice under the eye, absolutely. Just be really careful, because if you put ice, anyone that's ever been a kid and you've got your tongue stuck to the ice lolly, dry skin, ice sticks. So just be really careful with it. I would probably buffer it by putting it in like a sandwich bag or a cloth or something like that, and just dab it rather than rub. But yeah, ice, absolutely fine. You can use it. There's nothing. It will definitely help with the puffiness and some of the discoloration. I love you too, Matt. Big love out. My opinion on African black soap, Maeve. Well, I tried this when I went traveling. So I've got some family that live in South Africa. So went there, and it is huge over there. I laboured under. I never understood what it was. Darker skin types and for black skin tones, absolutely not. Obviously it relates to the colour of the soap and what goes into it. I didn't realise that. I was a labour under that misapprehension. I tried it and I was really impressed. So it's basically the products that go into it. It's various plant fibres and charcoals that go into it that creates the black colour, and it's supposed to be absolutely fantastic for acneic skin. Now, I did a soap cleansing video, and I used soap as a cleanser for a week to try it out, which is another celebrity craze at the moment. And I found it worked quite well for my skin because I'm super oily, and it did tone down the oil. I found the African black soap does exactly the same thing, but to a greater degree, because it's got some of those active ingredients in. If I don't like to see people use it that aren't oily, this shouldn't be your go-to if you haven't got oily skin. If you've got excess oil, African black soap is a really good way of toning that down. Some people say it's quite abrasive and it's good for whitening the skin. That have added things in that shouldn't be in there. But if you get to the traditional African black soap, it's not going to do anything like that, but it will definitely help balance the oil in your skin. So if you're oily and you're struggling to control the oil, try African black soap. It's actually quite good. I loved it. I think, oh yes, you can buy it on Look Fantastic. So yeah, great. But definitely try it out. Have a look for it if you are super oily. But for anybody that's not super oily, it's not going to be the product for you. We're seeing a lot of love on this chat for Bridesmaids. It is a quality film. Just never have anything else said. It's great. Let's have a look. People saying about it being the Oat Cleansing Balm is available on Cult Beauty. Well, get it. Go and get it. Order a couple. We actually had in last week's chat about Cult Beauty, of whether it's actually a legitimate site. I love it, and I said how amazing they were. And I reached out to them about finding the Peter Thomas Roth treatment, and they got back to me literally like that, and they were so helpful. So I've got a newfound respect for Cult Beauty. They're great. Jenny says it feels like we're all hanging out at my place. Well, you are all welcome. You can come, join me anytime you want. On two conditions. One, you don't judge the fact that this bit looks tidy, but the rest might not be. And two, you bring a box of wine. Very much into box wine now, so you bring a box of rosé, and you're welcome anytime, people. Esperanza Beauty, hi, welcome. When someone said it's like a pajama party, my pajamas are next level, and I do like to think actually my pajamas are some of the most fabulous clothes that I own. I always go for the full button up. I go for the proper like starched collar, because I think, you know what, we should all have a little bit of luxury as we sleep, and I'm all in favour of the full pajama look. It probably isn't the sexiest look in the world, but it's comfortable, and I think you should dress up to go to bed so you always look the part. Let's have a look, see what we've got question wise. Pajama Mum says, I don't watch Hiram. I'm glad I don't swear. My mum wouldn't put up with that. And I think, I don't know, I think you can do it without swearing, but each to their own. Susie Pooh sends love. Thank you. Sending lots of love back, lots of hearts back. Tom says, I don't like my age. Tom, you can come again. Thank you. It's really odd, because I think I don't get people's ages particularly well. Like, people say, oh, how old so I have no idea how old people are. Like, I was thinking if someone walks past, like, they have fantastic skin, and it shows in this weather. So we're like super hot here in the UK, and you can't disguise. It's hard to disguise poorly treated skin in this weather, because obviously you can't wear as much makeup, you can't wear as much, and I always like, when I see people with nice skin, I think, oh yeah, that's fine, modern age. Esperanza Beauty says, don't change and don't ever promote a product you haven't tested. No, I can't. I'd love to be that person that can take the coin. I'd be rich by now if I take in a few sponsorships and off I go. I can't, because do you know what, I have like the world's worst poker face. If I hate something, you'll know it, and I can't disguise it. I can't sit there and be like, oh, this is amazing, yay. And no, I'm too animated, and that you can tell if I'm lying. So if you ever wonder whether I'm genuinely being honest about product, if my hands move and I'm animated, I believe in it. If I'm sat there like this, I'm lying, because I talk with my hands. Chatty says, boxed wine and sangria. Happy belated birthday. Best birthday in the world. I really apologise if there is anybody from Spain here, and a lover of genuine and real sangria, because that carton, don't think it had ever been to Spain. Nope. So like, oh, birthday messages. Thank you. I actually, most people got me skincare. What I get for my birthday, I got two different people bought me the Purito, but one person got me the comfy water, and one person got the Centralia, how you say it, the chemical version. So I'm actually quite happy to try that. So I got something, I got some, well, all of my Evolve Beauty, I did like a whole haul of stuff from Evolve Beauty, and I got that arrived on my day, so that's like my birthday present to me. Quite a few people sent money. It's quite hard to buy things when we're all still like semi in lockdown, so it's quite difficult. I got some new jeans, which were really nice, and I got a few shirts, and yeah, just some really nice stuff. Loads of Amazon vouchers, so I do actually have to go on Amazon and buy stuff that isn't skincare, because all I buy is skincare, and I need to buy something else. I'm sure I'll have a look and see what I fancy. Have a look. And I think for me, it's like, I might be an addict when it comes to skincare, but I do know what I like and what I don't like, and I don't want to slap anything on that I really, really, really don't like and can't support. So no. Do we have any other questions? Oh, so Jenny says, let me know about what the Purito, the chemical version, who really don't like chemical sunscreens. And I said in one of my videos, I think that the science behind some of the claims that chemical sunscreens can be bad, can be absorbed by the body, can be damaging to DNA and hormone levels is out there, but it's not fully costed and proven in my view, whereas the damage that not wearing sunscreen is definitely proven beyond all doubt. And so I say to people, it's better to wear a chemical sunscreen than no sunscreen at all, but use a mineral if you're unsure. Well, the knives were out. People saying that's irresponsible. Well, I am a great believer in giving people the information and then they can do with that what they want. I'm not telling, I don't think you should ever tell people what to use or how to use a product. It's really for them to decide how they want to use it and what they want to use. And that very much comes down to sunscreen. So I like to have a chemical and a mineral, and I use my mineral SPF day to day because I do think if we can cut down on chemicals, that's a good thing. But also chemical sunscreens are easier to use. They're often better when it comes to water resistance, and they're often easy to apply and go into. So if I need to, if I want to put makeup over something, if I'm filming something or whatever, then the chemical sunscreen is my go-to, and we should never be ashamed of that. So I'm going to test out both and I'll let you know what I think. Memoni says, hi Rob, do you think that applying moisturiser in the morning, then chemical SPF and then a tinted SPF on top of it and reapplying the SPF for the other day might cause unnecessary interaction of filters? I think it's a very good question. Well, obviously the way to get around that is to use a mineral SPF as your base and then use a chemical SPF over the top if you want, and then you have that second layer of protection. If you don't, I don't think so. I honestly think people are too. I would be, if you're laying out in the sun, if you're on the beach, you're in Barbados, you've got a pina colada in one hand and you've got a Mills and Boon book in the other, and you're reading it, then yes, you need to be a bit mindful of the sun. If you're just running errands, if there is a slight interaction with the filter, it's not the end of the world because you're not literally basking in the sun, if that makes sense. However, I don't think there'll be any issue with that whatsoever. A lot of people do like to use a tinted SPF over their moisturiser to get over their SPF to get rid of any sort of white cast or ashiness that you sometimes get. What I would do, if it was me, I would put your moisturiser on, then put a mineral SPF on top of that. And then during the day, you can get some great sprays that you can even put over makeup. Some of the Cooler do one that you can literally, if you want to reapply, there's various ways of reapplying, and I would encourage you to reapply, but use it however you want to use it. I think the filters are advanced enough that you don't get too much interaction with it, so I won't worry too much. So getting skincare for your birthday is the dream. It is really lovely. And do you know what? I'm going to give a lovely shout out to Tish Hanley, which is a men's skincare company, who really kindly sent me some product to try, and that arrived on my birthday, so I'm counting that as my birthday treat. I haven't had a chance to open it and actually try it yet, but I think that's really good. And that comes on to a question that I did get asked: is should men use men's skincare? I hate more than anything. I'm like a total hypocrite, so I'll give two sides. I hate gendered skincare because skin is skin. I don't really understand why do men have massively different skin to it. No, it's the same way when people say that you need a specific line of products for dark skinned versus light skinned. You really don't. SPF's been slightly different because obviously it works differently on different skin tones and the coloration can appear differently on different skin tones. But generally speaking, we don't. And it's the same for men and women, light, dark. Skin is skin. Work out what's wrong, what you want to treat in your skin, not what's wrong, because nothing's ever wrong with skin. But what you want to treat and find the right product for that. Don't worry about the gender or the colour or whatever. However, there are men out there who refuse point blank to use skincare, and this annoys me because they expect their woman or their man, dependent, who they're with, they expect their woman to look $1 million, to make an effort and to look fabulous, and so you should always do what you want to do for you, not for whoever you're with, but then take zero care of themselves. I think, do you know what, if that was my man, I would be out of that door because I'm not taking care of myself to feel great about myself, but also to look good. We all want to look our best for our partners, to have them make zero effort on for me. So I do think there is a niche in the market for that men to be encouraged to use skincare, and I do think having more masculine branding and having more masculine focused products is a really good way to do that. So I'm one of these boss. I don't think it should be gendered. I'm not one of these people that says men's skincare is bad, women's skincare is bad. Let's get with it. Some people do want to have a more masculine fragrance, a more masculine product line. So yeah, I am really excited to try the Tish Hanley stuff. I've heard really good things about it, so I'm really interested to see it. And it is slightly different fragrance. Obviously it's catering towards men, so it does come with a bit more of a darker scent to it, which is actually quite pleasant. So I can't believe I've actually been talking can't believe we've actually been talking for an hour. So yes, wow, that goes so quick. I love it. Didn't even put my face mask on. I'm going to go and do that now. I'm going to go put my face mask on and lie on the bed in like the 800-degree heat here and try and soak up some excess oil. And thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this. I cannot believe we've been on for an hour already. It literally zooms. I'm going to be doing this every single week. So 6 p.m. UK time. I will work out what time that is in various different locations in the world so I can actually put that in the thing. And thank you so much for joining us. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up, if you could, that's absolutely great because it helps the channel out so much, and I'd be so eternally grateful. Oh, we have someone with the Body Shop oat mask on. That is a really good mask. I love that mask, actually. That was one of the highlights of my Body Shop review. Definitely try that out. And I didn't get to show you it live, but it is actually really good. So try the simple Detox and Brighten clay mask. It's a really lovely fragrance-free clay mask. So if you're worried about fragrance and you want clay, this is a really good one. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Daniel. Tom, have a lovely weekend. Jenny, amazing as always. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, what's your excuse? And come back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock UK time. We are launching our Best of Canada as we go on our voyage of international discovery across the world to find out the best skincare brands. And thank you so much for joining us, guys. I love doing these. Same time next week. Wherever in the world you are, guys, take care. Love you lots. Bye.